we're having this tea. I really love green tea. It's actually one of my favorites. I'm pretty much a herbal tea or an organic tea lover. So it was pretty cool to get this Libre Tea glass, definitely because most of the teas that I buy are loose leaf. And this is 100% spill-free, so you're not going to have any hot water scalding your hands or anything like that. But you screw it on. If I can be smarter than a machine. Okay, there you go. And basically what it does as you drink, it filters out the leaves so you don't ever get any leaves in your mouth, and you get the great flavor. So, that's really good. So yeah, and then you can screw it back on. You can put it in your purse, you can put it in a backpack, and take it anywhere you want to go.
And so it has to explain, it has the polymer and glass. It's double layered. So it has the glass on the inside so you don't get that plastic taste in your tea. But then on the outside it has a polymer layer. And so even though you can put like black tea in here with a really hot temperature, it stays just warm on the outside. So like she was saying, you can put it in your purse, you can drink out of it even though it's pretty hot on the inside. So that's a really cool feature of it. And then one thing we noticed as soon as it came in was that each layer has a little O-ring gasket in it. And so like she was saying, it's really, really spill-proof, and that's one of the things we tested out when we first got it. You know, you put really, really hot water in this thing and you're going to carry it around. Well, you don't want even a drop of it coming out because that'd be really uncomfortable. But every layer of this thing has gaskets in it to keep it from leaking. One of the really cool features is the screen. So we noticed the screen is a very, very, very fine screen. So actually, as you're drinking, the tea gets captured in this top part. So your next drink is sitting there cooling, waiting for you to drink it. So it actually helps you drink the tea a little bit quicker.
Yeah, it's pretty much my most favorite thing this year. I've taken it to seminars and all kinds of things, and it's kept it pretty warm for long periods of times. I did a 3-hour seminar the other day, and I took it in. It was hot. It was a hot chai tea that was in it, and it was hot, a little too hot for me to drink. And by the middle of the seminar, about an hour and a half in, it was the perfect temperature. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it really lets you showcase your teas. That's one thing I've noticed when Abby's been trying it out over the last week or so. She puts all kinds of different teas in there, especially like the chai tea, and it's just gorgeous when she puts the tea in there because you put the water in there and the tea swirl, or the tea leaves swirl up, and you know, with chai tea you've got lots of different colors, and the whole time you're drinking it, you're showcasing the fact that you're drinking a really nice loose leaf tea.
And for anyone that's prone to dropping and knocking things off their desk, as the three of us, I think the polycarbonate coating on that really protected a little bit better.
Yeah, definitely. And since we're all working around computers as well, we don't have to worry about any spills on the keyboards. Yeah. But yeah, you can actually buy this on the website. I think it's close. It's somewhere in the range of $20 to $25, something like that. But it's at LibreTea.com. And you can also follow them on Twitter. They're always doing some specials. They do a Tea Tuesday where you can share a memory about tea on their Facebook page. So be sure to check them out because we're really appreciative of them. They are actually our first tea sponsor. They're the first people to send us some free teas. And let's just talk about what they sent us. So I was expecting when I got this email from Canada, I was expecting maybe 2 or 3 bags, of the tea. They sent us a whole 15 package vacuum sealed bag of this Organic Ming Mei tea. So I was completely blown away, not only by the flavor, but by the generosity and the fact that they were really willing to reach out to us and get us to try it. So
one thing that's cool about this that you don't see a lot of times is these packages are individually sealed, but it's loose leaf tea inside here. It's not a it's not a packet that has mesh on it or anything that you dip in the tea. It's just loose leaf tea, but it's vacuum sealed, so it stays fresh longer. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And one thing you might notice, I think Craig wanted to talk a little bit about sweetening your tea. So look at our 3 different teas here. We've got 3 different levels of sweetness. So you've got Abby that doesn't like very much sugar in her tea at all. She tends to go with about half a teaspoon or so of tea. I usually go with about a teaspoon, and then Craig usually goes with a little bit more than that. And you might notice the color of our water, even though it's a green tea, we actually use brown sugar. It's a unrefined, unbleached sugar.
So the reason we started this, we actually started out probably with 3 or 4 different kinds of tea, and then we all got really into drinking tea, and so we've probably got about 100 different kinds in our co-working space now.
Yeah, definitely.
And we were always using just regular white sugar. And one of the things that we learned along the way is that the process, the refining process and bleaching in the white sugar actually gives the tea a bitter taste. And so we started using this unrefined sugar. You notice how brown it is. It doesn't have that bitter taste, and it also changes the color, obviously. So when you put it in the water, it turns it brown, and different level of brown depending on how much you have. And I've got like half a cup of sugar in mine, so it's...
And that brown comes from the molasses. One of the things you don't think about is, sugar canes, what we get our sugar from. Sugar cane is also used to make molasses. You can make sugar cane syrup. And so what the bleaching process does, we're used to white sugar, and so what they do is they bleach the molasses color and the molasses flavoring out of the sugar, so you just get the sweetness without the brown coloring. Because it can be, the first time you ever use it and you put it in your teapot, especially if you make it in a teapot like this. So if we made some Ceylon tea in this teapot, you put the sugar in there and then you fill it up, and the water is immediately brown and used to being clear water, and then the tea stains the water. So it's a little bit different to get used to. It's a little bit different taste, but you actually get to taste the tea a lot better than with the white sugar, because you don't get that real sharp sugar taste.
And if you're wondering where you can get this, usually like at a grocery store or whatever, you can find two different kinds. We tried first a pure organic brand that was about $7 for about half this amount. And I mean, as far as taste goes, we couldn't tell any difference between the organic brand and this is about $4 from just any grocery store you can find it at. So definitely recommend that.
Yeah, and speaking of tea too, the flavor of this Ming Mei actually it's a really earthy flavor. Like when you first open the packets, you can smell, and it smells a lot like grass, like fresh cut grass. And part of that is just the fact that it's really organic and it's a pure leaf. I actually traveled to China, and so my first experience with real loose leaf green tea was actually in China. And I've never been able to find green tea that like really smelled fresh, because what we have over here in Arkansas is, Twinings, and Twinings is good, and a lot of these box teas, and they've got great flavor, but it's not like the loose leaf that you can find from the actual countryside of China. I mean, there's just a huge difference. So I was really excited when I opened the packet and smelled it. But this one, it's got a really great sweet aftertaste that will leave it lingers in your mouth a little bit. It's not bitter at all. You do want to be careful with green leaves, because it can burn kind of easy. In fact, if you have your water boiling, you're going to need to let it sit before you pour it over the green tea leaves, because that'll turn it into a really dark brown tea, and normally it's a very light colored tea, and it gives it an awful burnt flavor. What did you describe it as?
It was like burnt seaweed was what it tasted like. But they suggested you usually see this with green teas, so they suggest 75 degrees Celsius and 167 Fahrenheit. So that's not boiling, and then you'll want to steep it for 70 to 90 seconds versus the 4 or 5 minutes that you might want to do for black tea. So you're putting it in a warm water, and not for very long at all. And if you're not used to drinking green tea, then it's a little bit deceptive, because you can see it barely tints the water with color, but the flavor is really full.
Right.
So it depends on what you have. We have just an electric kettle, and it just heats the water up to boiling in about 3 minutes. But you don't want to pour that straight in like they were saying, so what we do is let it sit for about 5 minutes or so. If you go with a more expensive electric kettle, you can actually get one that has a setting for different kinds of tea. So you can push the green tea button and it'll bring it up to that exact temperature. But those are a little bit more expensive, so we haven't got one of those yet. And Abby, you want to tell them about our teapot there?
Oh yeah. I actually bought this lovely little teapot from TJ Maxx, and I think is it a Teavana brand?
I think Teavana carries it. But
yeah,
it's not Teavana brand.
I think Teavana carries this teapot, but it was actually quite a steal. We have a local TJ Maxx, which is where we get a lot of our stuff, and it was marked down, so I think I paid maybe $26 to $27. The only complaint I really have about this teapot is that it's really hard to pour, because this lid has a tendency to fall off, and you kind of have to pour all the way over, especially when you get down to the bottom of the teapot. We've all thought that we were going to break it, because we've knocked it up against sink counters while we were cleaning it and things like that, and we're always like, oh gosh, I'm going to break it. But it's actually been pretty durable. So I mean, even though it's pretty delicate feeling, it's it's actually done pretty well. And the reason why I like the clear is because obviously you can see the tea. And then if you have any like blooming teas, it's actually really gorgeous. We tried that a couple of times, and while I don't really like the flavor of blooming teas, it's really pretty to watch. So.
Yeah. And you see it's a 3-piece teapot, so it's got the glass top, and then it's got a glass infuser, and then that infuser has, instead of having a screen on it, it just has slits in the glass, and so it really slowly steeps, and then actually surprisingly the water comes out of it pretty easily when you pull it up, so you can see we've got the green leaves there. And you can, once you're done letting it infuse and steep, then you can take that, set it to the side, and just have your tea. And then this top, of course, fits either way with the infuser or without the infuser. But yeah, that would be my one complaint about it, is that you'll see it has a very short spout here, and it's inset. And so you might have noticed when I was pouring across at the beginning of the show, it actually spilled a little bit on the table because you have to lift it up so high that you're actually going to, no matter what, I haven't been able to not get it to drip on the table when you use it. So that's a little bit annoying.
Now you mentioned TJ Maxx. That's actually where we got started, kind of getting some different kinds of tea. It's a good place to go and just snag different things that you wouldn't normally find like at the store, but you don't have to go to like an organic tea shop or something like that. So kind of like an intermediary place to go and try some different stuff before you get into like, ordering the more expensive teas online or something like that.
Which I had the pleasure of going to Teavana this past weekend, which was actually quite impressive, except for the sales team, because they were like, oh my gosh, do you want to buy something? But once I told the salespeople, if you leave me alone and let me look around, I'll actually spend a lot more money. They were pretty cool. We've got some black teas that we're going to try, hopefully soon, that I brought back. And really, that's all I have tonight.
Yeah, so just to explain a little bit about what we plan to do in the future. Tonight we wanted to focus on just introducing the show, what we're going to do, who we are, and then especially cover the Libre Tea, since they were so nice to send us something, not knowing what the show was going to be like. They were very supportive and said, okay, we'll send you a glass and some tea to try, and we'd love to be on the first episode. So big props to them. So we want to make sure we showcase what they sent to us. In future episodes, we'll actually cover not only a tea, but we'll also cover tech tips. So as you'll notice on the website, we want to make the show an infusion of tea and then Zen-style tech tips. So we want to try to teach you how to declutter your tech life. So we'll have tips on how to use Gmail better, how to use Twitter better, how to go paperless, things like that, to try to streamline the digital life that we've come to know and can get overwhelming at times because there's so much that we have to touch every single day on the web and things like that. So we'd like to try to streamline some of that and keep with that Zen flow of the tea. And so we'll have a tea review and a tech tip every show. On the website we'll have tech reviews and tea reviews that you can read through. And every tea that we review, one of us will review the tea in full, and then all three of us will place a rating on that tea. So if you'd like to follow one of our tastes that you might like, so Abby's more willing to, or she's more likely to lean towards green teas and herbal teas. I'm kind of like in the middle, so I like a lot of black teas, some herbal teas. I don't like a lot of robust flavors. And then Craig leans more towards black teas and really full tasting long steep teas.
Like a Scottish breakfast tea or a lot of the Ceylon teas, anything that's really dark.
Yeah, really full flavor dark teas. So if you like one of those sets of flavors, then you can actually follow what we like and what we've reviewed and what we've drank. And we'll also include the links on how to buy all the tea that we review. If you're interested in sending us any tea to review on the show, we're absolutely open to that, and you can contact us through the website.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us this evening. We're really excited about the future of TechTea, so we look forward to seeing you again.
And check out our website.
Yeah.
Yeah, TechTea.tv, and then we're also on Twitter.
Yes, at TechTea.tv.
Yep, and you can email us, hello@techtea.tv, if you have any suggestions for anything you'd like to see as far as teas or tech. So until next time, we'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.